Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I'm Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, we're going over all the new VR game releases dropping in the month of February, and even if you're not planning to pick up a PlayStation VR 2, this is still a pretty huge month. Now, I'm a little late to getting this video out because I've been on vacation, but I'm back now and it's time to start playing some VR games. Today's list has 15 new games before we even get to the PlayStation VR 2, and there are of course the links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by my sponsor Kiwi Design. They currently make my favorite Quest 2 Elite strap, which comes in multiple different versions. You can add an extra battery pack, high quality headphones, or even both. They also have other products like Valve Index style hand straps, and they just introduced a brand new RGB stand. Your controllers and headset magnetically connect. There's a charging indicator so you'll know when your headset's ready to go. And there's plenty of different RGB color options available. There's a link to Kiwi Design down in the description. And don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support this channel. Okay, so this list is going to go in chronological order, and like I said, I'm a little late to releasing this, so the first two titles are already available, and we're starting off with Survival Nation. This is an online open-world survival title where you're fighting VR's favorite enemy, zombies. Survival Nation includes RPG elements. You'll be killing hundreds of enemies, acquiring new weapons, learning new skills, crafting, exploring the world, and completing some quests. Now, the current reviews for this title are a bit mixed, and I'm hearing it has some interesting components, but still a bit janky. Now, for something a bit more refined, we have the Quest 2 port of Windlands 2. This was a beloved classic PCVR title that has you and 3 of your friends swinging around the world, soaring through ruins, and battling gigantic titans to help save the world from an ancient danger. There's a fully voice-acted storyline with NPCs and world events. The game is completely playable in both single-player and 4-person co-op, and it also features some excellent VR swinging mechanics. So if you need a brand new adventure, go check out Windlands 2. But if you prefer puzzles and a cute little storyline, we have A Night in the Attic. A Night in the Attic has you rolling Guinevere across Camelot in a quest to save King Arthur. It's definitely a new take on a classic storyline, and the storyline extends outside the game board itself and into the mysterious attic. But that's definitely not enough violence for me, so I'm pretty pumped for the release of Barbaria. Barbaria features Gorn-like cartoon combat, but instead of just being an arena fighter, there is so much more to this title. You'll be collecting minions, unlocking new godlike abilities, upgrading your character and all of his weapons, and finally building out your own realm. You're able to completely control the design of your realm, but you'll also need to fill it with traps and minions to help defend it, because every other player out there can invade your realm. Overall, it's a fantastic combination of mechanics, with a lot of strategy and a huge amount of replayability. But if combat's not for you, we have a strategic world builder with Aspera. You'll have to strategically utilize your resources to help terraform the Red Planet into a thriving civilization. There's different technological paths you can take, and there's also something dangerous lurking on the planet Mars that you'll have to eventually defend against. Speaking of defense, get ready to duck, dodge, and punch your way through obstacles in the rhythm exercise themed title, Power Beats VR. Now, Power Beats has already been available on PCVR for a little over 2 years, but now it's finally making its way onto the Quest platform. This is a no-subscription, high-intensity fitness challenge featuring original music, plenty of exotic locations, and unlockable cosmetics as rewards to keep pushing you forward. So if you're in the market for a new workout VR game, you might want to check out Power Beats VR. Now, next up we have Vrickey, and I generally don't include App Lab titles in these lists, but I just find something about this game extremely intriguing. It's almost like an old-school arcade shooter with some very specific mechanics dedicated to VR. You'll be guiding a spaceship through a maze by physically moving around your room. You'll also have to blast obstructions out of its path and physically dodge attacks that are aimed at you personally. Now, while I generally look for more serious titles, I have to say this one looks really fun though. Speaking of fun and unique, we have a whole new take on the first-person shooter genre with Gun Jam. Now, they're calling this a rhythm FPS because you have to shoot to the beat of the song. Graphically, it reminds me a bit of Borderlands, and the pacing and soundtrack just look absolutely awesome. Now, I just hyped myself up for this game, so I'm definitely gonna have to check it out. But let's jump back to a zombie survival title with Drop Dead the Cabin. This is a 2-player co-op experience, which has you battling waves of unique enemies, all while collecting resources, unlocking new equipment, and waiting for a helicopter extraction. It's designed to be extremely difficult with a high emphasis on replayability, and as you continually play more and more, You should develop some strategies on what resources to unlock first and how to best defend yourselves. So if you have a friend that you love gaming with and you're looking for a challenge, you definitely have to check out Drop Dead the Cabin. Next up, we have District Steel, which is a VR action title inspired by classic first-person shooters. District Steel has you blasting your way through an underground facility, mowing down robotic enemies with an array of deadly weapons, and some time-bending powers. I love a good straightforward shooter, so it looks like yet another game that I have to add to my must-try list. Speaking of must-try, the Signifier looks absolutely trippy and a bit horrific. The Signifier is a story-driven adventure title that follows the mystery of death and despair. You'll be transported into surreal realms based on memories and subjective experiences. It's a psychological thriller that'll have you traveling through multiple realms in order to solve puzzles and unravel the game's mysterious storyline. Now this looks a bit creepier than I generally enjoy, but also undeniably intriguing. Now our next title is for the platforming fans. VR currently has a handful of excellent platformers, but all of them lack a more mature theme. Mixture is set to change that with an emphasis on combat, dangerous exotic worlds, and a main character on a path of redemption. It also features a self-co-op experience where you're both controlling the exiled knight, but also taking on the role of alchemist, who can pull resources from the world around you and craft them into potions used for both battle and puzzle solving. So if you enjoyed anything like Astrobot Rescue Mission or Moss, but want something with more refined combat or darker themes, then Mixture is right up your alley. Now sticking with darker themes, we have the Light Brigade. This is a roguelite shooter with realistic gunplay and immersive magic abilities. You are humanity's last defense, and you'll be journeying through procedurally generated battlegrounds as many times as it takes to free the souls trapped within. You'll gain magic abilities that pair nicely with your weapons, you can upgrade your equipment and unlock new classes, and there's plenty of unique loot and power-ups to collect along the way. As a procedurally generated title, every run is completely different, and the main question is, will you ever be able to uncover the mysteries and bring the world back from the brink of darkness? And our final title, before we get into PlayStation VR 2 stuff, is Papaye BangBang, and I hope I said that right. This is a cute little Central America-inspired shooter, which has you utilizing slingshots and specialty ammo, and it's currently available on mobile platforms, but you'll soon be able to experience it in VR. And that was the non-PlayStation VR 2 portion of this video. From this point forward, we'll be discussing what many people are extremely hyped for, and that's the PlayStation VR 2. Now there's currently 36 games that will be available at launch, and I'm not going to go through every single one. I do want to focus on the exclusive titles, but first I want to discuss how the PlayStation VR 2 is bringing us enhanced versions of games we already know and love. Now at heart, I am still a huge PCVR fan, but many PCVR gamers are refusing to acknowledge the quality of games the PSVR 2 will bring. They'll explain how nothing could come remotely close to their high-end gaming rig, and how the PlayStation 5 is only equivalent to a 2080 Ti. But I usually clap back with, you just don't understand optimization, and two developers have recently come out stating that their games perform better on the PSVR 2. The first is Song in the Smoke, where they state the graphics significantly surpass the PC version, and the second is Pavlov, whose developer stated that the game runs 10% faster on the PS5 compared to a high-end PC running an RTX 3090 Ti. So true high-end VR games are finally coming, and not only will we get excellent versions of games like After the Fall, Moss, Demio, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, and No Man's Sky, but we're also getting plenty of exclusives, starting with Horizon Call of the Mountain. This absolutely stunning adventure title, set in the Horizon Zero Dawn universe, will have you interacting with brand new characters, exploring by land and sea, and of course battling lots of robotic creatures. I'm expecting a great narrative, as the Horizon series has been some of the best sci-fi storytelling in the past 10 years, and I'm just ready to be blown away with plenty of action. Now if you enjoy speed, we also have Gran Turismo 7. The developers have stated that this game was always designed for VR, so don't expect some sort of lazy port, and all the initial reactions are saying this title is absolutely fantastic. Now if you're not familiar with the Gran Turismo series, it's a racing simulation title designed to emulate the appearance and performance of a wide array of cars. The series has been going strong since the early 90s, and Gran Turismo 7 includes over 420 cars and 90 tracks. But racing isn't for everyone, and that's why there's horror titles like Resident Evil Village, another classic series, but this one is more of a crap your pants simulator. This is now the 8th installment in the series, taking place just a few years after Resident Evil 7. You'll be stuck in a snow-filled Eastern European village and exploring a Victoria-era castle. Of course, it's filled with nightmarish creatures and horrific characters that delight in others' pain, but you'll build up a nice arsenal of weapons to help fight back. Not much more has to be said about this game. I'm just curious if I could actually handle it in VR. And finally, we have Switchback VR The Dark Pictures. Sticking with the horror theme, this is a roller coaster ride through hell. Making matters worse, this title utilizes PlayStation VR's eye tracking technology, and blinking can get you killed. That's right, there are certain creatures that will move when you blink. So make sure to keep those eyes open, even if you're terrified. So overall, this looks like a horror-themed version of the Bone Lab roller coaster ride level, but this time it's actually good.
And that was today's video, brought to you by my dad, Mateo311. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here,
Consider subscribing.
consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing. We'll see you guys on next time.
We'll see you guys on next time.